toss, Arjuna Ranatunga was the successful captain, and despite the fact that no one has ever won a World Cup batting last, he opted to put the Australians in. These were the two teams. Australia that won that nail-biting semi-final against the West Indies, with Mark Waugh needing 52 to overtake Tendulkar and become the leading run scorer in the tournament. Sri Lanka, too, unchanged, chase any total that their bowlers may concede in the first half of the match. So let's cross now to Lahore and join the action in the first over with Mark Taylor on strike.
We have Taylor and Mark Waugh about to face Vikramasinghe and Chaminda Vaas. Two bowlers who've done very well for Sri Lanka in this competition. Chaminda Vaas, I think, is very good. He's had a few sessions with Dennis Lillee, straightening out one or two things. That has benefited him, but he's a good natural pace bowler. And Mark Taylor will be facing the first ball. Has had quite a good series, India 59 and Zimbabwe 34, but not quite as good as the man at the other end, Mark Waugh. Mark Waugh missed out against West Indies in that very exciting game at Chandigarh. Tendulkar, Lara, Mark Waugh have been the three stars as far as the batting goes. And his career in limited overs internationals pushing up towards 4,000 runs. 130, 126, 110, and all of them very, very good innings. First ball of the World Cup final. Raja Vikramasinghe. He's a fast medium, I suppose. I've seen him bowl in quite sharp fashion out in Australia. Depends a little bit on the pitch, but I had the feeling when I had a look at the strip that there'd be a bit of pace and bounce there, a bit more than on some of the other pitches we've seen. Well, that'll give us an idea of the pace of the outfield. The rope is in well away from the hoardings. Oh, that didn't look bad.
Well, a good effort, but perhaps Asanka Kurusina left it till the very end, wasn't able to get the ball back within the boundary. And Mark Taylor, who played so positively against the Indians and against Zimbabwe, once again playing a very, very positive shot there. Foot right to the pitch of the ball, and the bat coming through very nicely.
Right-hand, left-hand combination poses problems for bowlers. Doesn't matter how good they are, they just have to change their line and sometimes their length as well. And these two have done the job, not just in these matches, but also in other matches for Australia. It's finding it a little bit disconcerting for the bowlers. 6 from that first over. Australia on their way. It's a nice setting here, the Gaddafi Stadium. If anyone's going to swing the ball, it'll be Chaminda Vaas, who's turned in some excellent performances in this competition.
He's also used the angle to bowl across to the right-hander very well. Kept the batsman guessing.
And that's perfectly illustrated with that ball. He speared it across and had the batsman playing away through gully. They've always been difficult, these left-armers, over the wicket to right-handers. Some of them cut the ball away, some of them actually swing it away, which is difficult to do. can certainly pose problems. Some batsmen of international standard have even had to change their batting styles to accommodate them.
And there is that natural outswinger that the left-hander bowls. That's the one that right-handers find more difficult to look out for.
Taylor's in form with both the cover drive and the pull shot.
Well, Taylor's obviously got a hang of the wicket very quickly, because while the earlier over saw him play the drive, this time he's picked the bounce very early and pulled it away for a boundary. It's very important for batsmen to get a measure of the wicket very quickly.
The three boundaries that have been hit, a very good indication that this could be a high-scoring game if the players play to their potential and to the way the pitch looks.
Yes, it does look like a very good batting wicket. The pace is there, and there's a lot of even bounce as well, and which will only mean that there's going to be a lot of hard work for the bowlers. They really won't get much help from this wicket. And if the batsman has to get out, it'll be only because he's over-ambitious.
Not only does the outfield look fast and relatively unaffected by the rain, which was very heavy at about 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock this morning. There's lightning coming through my window and a bit of thunder as well. It wasn't quite what we wanted to hear. Of the 22 on the board so far, Taylor has 12. Take a single to take it along to 23 for no wicket off 5. Beautiful stroke. Played with delightful ease. Really only just hooked it around. Didn't smash it.
Yes, he picked it up very early. He picked it up as the one that Chaminda was angles across to the right-hander, but it was the ball coming into the left-hander. And he just helped it along. Not too much of power in it. Just a little bit of guidance as far as the direction is concerned. And it's another boundary to Mark Taylor. He really is batting with a lot more confidence.
That's a good shot. Well, Taylor's in the mood, and it's now gone on to 31 for no wicket. 6 overs have gone through. I think he likes the pitch, that's the first thing. Good footwork. Footwork's been excellent. Again, that comes from a touch of confidence. Mark Taylor's moving along very smoothly. He's on 22. Mark Waugh on 12. And in the commentary box now, Ian Chappell. Alongside him will be Geoffrey Boycott.
Thanks, Richie, and hello to all of our viewers. Very good start for Australia. In the air and straight down Jayasuriya's throat. So that's a terrific breakthrough for Sri Lanka. Mark Waugh, as I mentioned before play started, if he bats for a reasonable amount of time, Australia are always going to set a big target. So that's a blow for Australia and a boost for Sri Lanka.
Yes, I think any early wicket's a good wicket, but this one in particular is a huge one for Sri Lanka. very quick scoring batsman, elegant player, Mark Waugh, and been in top form. So they'll think they've got the biggest wicket they could get. 36 for 1, Australia.
Ricky Ponting coming in at number 3 has 2 centuries to his name at this level, and one of them is against Sri Lanka, made at the MCG on the 9th of January this year. That's the 123 you see there. He came in and Australia were well, they weren't in great strife when he came in, but they lost a couple of wickets. He played extremely well. His other 100 was against the West Indies at Jaipur. Plays pace bowling very well, Ricky Ponting. Runs quickly. And he comes in at the fall of Mark Waugh's wicket. Mark Waugh looking at the pitch as he walked off, as though the ball didn't quite come on to him.
I just think it's one of those balls that you flip at and get there a little bit too early. When you do that, you tend to look at the pitch and blame anything but yourself. But I just think he got into that a little early and then just chipped it up in the air rather than waiting for the ball a little bit.
Well, it's been that sort of World Cup for this man, Jayasuriya. He seems to be the right man in the right place. When he hasn't been thrashing attacks all over the park, as in the semi-final when he missed out, got a naught. But suddenly Jayasuriya was bobbing up, throwing the stumps down, taking catches and getting wickets. And he was awarded the trophy, the Audi, for the most valuable player of the tournament. So it's been one of those sorts of tournaments where he just seems to be in the right place at the right time. Sri Lanka will be hoping that his form is good this evening. And Chaminda Vas asking the question. Umpire Shepherd says no.
Yes, I don't think there was any doubt about this. It moved off the seam. You see it pitching and going down leg side. Look where the keeper's going.
Excellent shot. Bit of width there. And Chaminda Vas really punished.
Yeah, that's an easy ball to hit. It's so wide, he just threw everything at it. Pitches on, running across and bang. He's got to keep it fairly straight and tuck up the right-handers a little bit.
Muralidharan, I guess he'll be looking forward to this contest, as have all the Sri Lankan players. They've said ever since their tour of Australia that they want a crack at Australia on the subcontinent. Well, they've got their wish and they've got it in the final. Let's see if they're good enough now to back up that wish.
Didn't time that particularly well, Ricky Ponting, but you could see from the type of stroke that anything with width, he just threw the bat at it. I still feel it's so important the spinners aren't out of the attack for too long. If the spinners can get it to turn, they'll be a vital factor for Sri Lanka.
That might be the problem for them, Jeffrey. I'm not sure it's going to turn too much out there. And wide called by umpire Buckner. He's a good bowler, Vikramasinghe, but he's a bit inconsistent. He bowls some good deliveries, but unfortunately too many bad ones thrown in.
Yeah, she can get away with an odd one down leg side like this in a test match, but his accuracy for one-day cricket just lets him down a bit. He was the same in the semi-final. He was just not quite as good as Vas at the other end.
That's beautifully hit, just inside the rope. Lovely timing, and brings up the 50 for Australia. .25 to Mark Taylor, 11 to Ricky Ponting. Ponting with a couple of boundaries and looking particularly aggressive. Taylor also, he tends to set the pattern in the Australian team, and he leads by example. He's come out in a very aggressive frame of mind. Chaminda Vas is going to continue. time for a change at the other end. It's at the college end. That's why the man has been put back. Gurusingha. Now he threatened, and it's cost Sri Lanka a run. Shouldn't be threatening from 70 metres. You should be throwing the ball in.
Yeah, not good that. He did a nice pick-up, one-handed, and then he forgot to let the ball go. Just trying to bluff the batsman. There he is, you see, took an extra step to get on balance, and it was all they needed. They sprinted for another run.
Well, that's gone. 6 it is, the first one of this World Cup final.
Well, this was short. Easy to hit, and he smacked it out of the ground. I mean, that was short of a length. I've no doubt in my mind they're going to have to bowl a spinner. That's halfway down the pitch. That they've got to change the tempo for the Australians. They've got seamers coming at either end, and they're just hitting through the ball when it's up, standing back and pulling it. And you've got to make them think a bit differently. You've got to get there.
Too short.
Well, it's so easy for the Australians. Flat pitch and good touch. Any shortness of length or width, the ball just sits up nicely to be belted. And there it is. It pitches outside off stump. Went a little bit wider. Probably half a yard, 2/3 of a yard too short, and he just smacked it. I don't think the bowlers will have to air too much in line or length on this pitch. Bowlers of either side, because it's a very good batting surface.
Good change of pace. Mark Taylor has played twice on this ground previously, scored half centuries on both occasions. It's obviously a pitch that he likes, and has a strike rate today of almost 87. That is Mark Taylor's record at Lahore. 56 his best against South Africa. That was a triangular tournament, South Africa, Australia and Pakistan in 94-95. And that includes today's innings. Nicely placed. Kiru's got a hand on it. Creates a long chase for Aravinda de Silva. Still gets to the boundary. It's 72 for 1.
Well, short of the length again. I think there are too many balls that he's short. Better off just pitching it up a little bit more and making the batsman drive you off the front foot.
The runs coming very quickly for Australia, probably too quickly for Sri Lanka's liking. It does appear that Muralidharan was offered the other end by the skipper, but after a bit of a chat, he's decided that he prefers the pavilion end, and I think that's a wise decision by the off-spinner. He really needs to do something, preferably get a wicket, and I think Mark Taylor would be the one they'd want to get out of the way at the moment.
Economy rate, not bad at all. But I think more than anything, he could do to turn a couple early. Just put a little bit of suspicion in the Australian batsman's mind. His first over, if he can get one to really spin, just makes the batsman a little bit more careful, a little more wary of his shot playing. Well, that turned a little bit from wide of off stump. When he gets loose and fingers get warmed up, I'd be interested to just see whether he really rips it.
Singer with the chase.
Well, he may be laughing, but I don't think the bowler would have been if they'd have got a third run. It was really sloppy fielding. Watch this. Dives down, can't get the ball in his hand. Ooh. It's a bit too wide, is that? Much too wide. I know it's spinning a little bit, but the batsman can easily go inside out. He'll give him too much weight. Good run in.
.77 for one. Shane Lee not playing in this World Cup final, but he's getting the treatment. Australia 78 for one after 14 overs. In the commentary position now, Ravi Shastri, and with him, Tony Greig.
Mark Taylor just 2 runs away from 3,000 one-day international runs. He'll be the 7th Australian to achieve that feat. In the air, and that'll be it. It's running down towards the boundary. That's very well timed. A good shot. Into the fence it goes. Mark Taylor's looking in good form here. So it's the 50 partnership, and a milestone for Mark Taylor as well.
Well, he picked his spot here, Mark Taylor, but this is a superb piece of timing. Foot right to the pitch of the ball, and once he saw that the ball really wasn't there, went through with a shot, no half measures, and over mid-wicket for 4.
And that's his half century. That's very well played. Under pressure, Mark Taylor, the captain, has come to the party. Well, the Australians on target, it seems to me, for around about 280 at the moment. And that's nicely played by Taylor. He's whipped that one away on the onside. They're finding the gaps very well, this Australian side. This is a big ground, very hard to protect. Lots of gaps out there, and Mark Taylor at the moment is playing a gem of an innings. He's lifted the rate when it was required. When they got bogged down a bit, he's played some good pull shots, and in between those, he's knocked it away into the gaps. Straight to mid on that time.
Well, just like Tony Greig said, it's a big ground. Very important that Ranatunga gets his field placings right. Because as the game progresses, you'll see a lot of 1s and 2s being run.
So Ricky Ponting having a little look around. There's a deep mid-wicket for him, a deep square leg, and a sweeper on the offside as well. He's playing very straight. This will be close. Just wide of the stumps. They needed a direct hit there. That makes the difference. If you can hit those stumps direct, you've got a chance of a run out when it's tight. Let's have another look at the replay.
Well, yeah, Ricky Ponting running with the shot, but what he didn't realize, the ball went too quickly to mid-on, and had that fielder hit the stumps, Ricky Ponting would have definitely been out.
Yes, it makes such a difference. Taylor has 53 or 54 balls, and that's well played, well fielded. Played away again to the right of the fieldsman. Mahanama is the man there. Good field.
Well, he's one of the best fielders in the Sri Lankan team. And this is the kind of fielding that can lift the spirits of the other players.
And that is Jayasuriya. That's the change. And probably he's looking to Jayasuriya to put the brakes and crawl back into this game.
Now, it's interesting that he's taken Murali Dhiran out of the attack, and he was bowling pretty well. I thought the best of 2 spinners so far. Jayasuriya, he's going to spin the ball back into the left-hander. Oh, Taylor won't mind that too much. He's going over the wicket to Taylor, who's having a look down towards square leg and deep mid-wicket. They've got that side of the field very well covered. If you can cover it, it's very big ground. So Jayasuriya, who's a little flatter, Doesn't spin it quite so much. He's on his way now. This is his first ball. Outside off stump, and that one cut away. Taylor's not happy with himself. As he ran away there, his head went back. He wanted to get that one into the gap. He hit it straight to the fieldsman.
A lot of gaps out here on this large Gaddafi stadium, and the Sri Lankans would have to cut the singles or end the twos as much as possible, because every run given away here would be a run they'll have to make.
Now this is quite interesting. Jayasuriya adopting the Muralidharan tactic. He's decided to stay left arm over the wicket to the right-hander. Again, requires that he bowls very straight. It's a positive move, though. So Ponting on strike. Well, that's way down the leg side, and it's been missed by the keeper as well. It was that wide. It's gone all the way to the fence for 4 wides. Oh, that's a dreadful delivery.
Extremely poor delivery by Jayasuriya at that time. Probably trying to give the ball a little bit of air and slipping off his hand, beating Kaluwithana completely way down the leg side.
The other thing about that ball, you can see how it's skidded away straight. And that is anguish written all over Jayasuriya's face.
Jayasuriya, who was used as a spinner in those 2 games as well, none for 37 and no wicket for 57 from 8.
Yes, the Sri Lankan spinners today have not been able to exert the pressure on the Australian batsmen as they did in the semi-final against India on a big turning pitch. And also that they bowled well and spun the ball against England, who they knocked out in the quarterfinals. This pitch looks quite slow, and it's turned so slowly that the batsmen have had time to adjust. Class players like the Australians have had no problems.
We got one there. Fielder's quick to come around, and it's 1 for 134, 23 gone. Got out your pen and pencil and a bit of paper and drawn the line. Couldn't have been better to split those 2 men.
Well, he's played beautifully all day. He's not had to show too much aggression because his timing and placement have been excellent. He's just played the ball basically where he's wanted all day.
It was a quicker ball. He saw him coming, bowled it well, and then fumble to bring up the 100 partnership between Mark Taylor and Ricky Ponting.
Yes, when you keep getting an odd misfeel like that, it doesn't do the confidence of everybody in the team a lot of good.
In the air. And it's gone. He's got it. Taylor has gone. He's swept. And Jayasuriya has kept his head there running around and taken a very good catch. He had quite a distance to go. Picked it right from the moment it left Taylor's bat. And that's 2 down. 137 on the board.
Well, that's the sort of mistake that Sri Lanka needed. Change of bowling. Fourth spinner in the game, the top edge. Not too difficult catch, just had to keep his nerve while the ball was in the air. And they've got a little bit of luck. It's been a long time coming. Lovely innings by Mark Taylor. Played beautifully in comfort. 137 for 2.
Steve Waugh, the new batsman, coming in at the fall of Mark Taylor's wicket. De Silva to bowl. Ponting's the man taking a strike. And this is the way Mark Taylor perished.
Well, it's about the only false shot that Mark Taylor's played. It's been in such good touch. It came as a big surprise. A little bit of an edge, half played for, and half a little bit of an edge, but it brings up 2 more runs for Australia. And you get the impression on this pitch that it's the batsman that's got to make a mistake. There's not too many snakes in the pitch.
That catch by Jayasuriya was a welcome turnaround for Sri Lanka, because their fielding had just slipped a little bit. And even in the end, he had to stretch for it. He'd made ground to it. I just wondered if it slipped on some slightly greasy surface out there from the overnight rain. Wasn't able to get going, and then finally stretched out for it. Steve Waugh's off the mark straight away, 141 for 2.
And he's bowled him. A little bit of turn there, so Aravinda de Silva doing exactly the job that his captain brought him on for. Get some wickets.
And Ricky Ponting, who's also played well, deceived by that one from Aravinda de Silva. How often we've seen in the limited overs game batsmen who are well set trying to run the ball down to third man, and this time completely missing it. Ball turning a little bit, and look at Aravinda de Silva. No wonder he's happy, because he's got an important wicket. Australia 152 for 3.
Well, Mark Taylor is not a captain to let the game just roll along. He's always putting it to the opposition, seeing if the opposition are prepared to be flexible or change their tactics. So he sent in Shane Warne. 24 of 14 deliveries against New Zealand. Played an important role there as a pinch hitter. Hit a huge 6 in that 24 against New Zealand. Hasn't really had to do much with the bat apart from that game. But with the spinners on, he is a good hitter against the spinners. And it'll be interesting to see if Arjuna answers this tactic with a little bit of pace. Perhaps an over or two from Chaminda Vaas. Aravinda has been spot on target. And getting that Yorker right in the block hole. Just 4 men inside the circle for Warne. 3 out on the onside, 2 on the off. And the pinch hitter's getting cute now to get off the mark. It's 153 for 3. Just a few words from the skipper. There's a man at long on. Just wondering about your thoughts, Sonny, former opening batsman, not quite in the same style as Kalu Wadharana or Jayasuriya, but easier to go for the bowling when you're setting the target rather than chasing a known target?
Well, I think if you're Kalu Wadharana or Jayasuriya, it really should make no difference either way. But yes, it does make a difference if you're batting first and you don't have a target to chase. Then there's nothing at the back of your mind that you've got to maintain a certain run rate or try and score of every delivery. You can afford to play the odd dot ball. But when you're chasing, then every dot ball adds to the mental pressure. It preys on your mind that you might just have let your side down by playing a couple of dot balls. So batting first always is easier, even for the pinch hitters.
Steve Waugh just with a bit of advice there for Shane Warne. I'll be telling him, don't just swing at everything willy-nilly, be a bit choosy. And he's gone, I think. Very quick piece of work there from Kalu Wadharana. He had him off quickly.
Well, that was bowled down the leg side. I think the Sri Lankans had it planned that in case Shane Warne does give the charge, they should bowl down the leg side, and there you are. Clearly, the bat has not gone down. Super work there by Kalu Wadharana. The Sri Lankans need to be given credit for planning it, although this time Shane Warne was playing a defensive shot. Australia 156 for 4. And the crowd certainly appreciating the work done by Kaluwitana. The Sri Lankan flags there. We know that there's been a special charter flight which has come down. Very quick, very good work there by Kaluwitana. Australia 156 for 4.
And the Australians just allowing Sri Lanka back into this game. 3 wickets falling fairly quickly. One of them a pinch hitter, Shane Warne. Stuart Law, who played such an important innings in the semi-final, really the man who got Australia here. He didn't get the Man of the Match award, but without Stuart Law's 72 there, Australia really could not have set the West Indies a target that would have mattered. And then Shane Warne's 4 wickets also wouldn't have done much. So an important innings from Stuart Law in that semi-final. Murali Dhiran, a good piece of bowling and well assisted by the wicket-keeper.
Well, there you are, Murali Dhiran just bowling a little bit down the leg side. I think it was more in anticipation of Shane Warne giving him the charge. They must have planned that, but Shane Warne didn't quite give him the charge. But he overbalanced, and Ramesh Kaluwitana, anticipating, was right there and had the bails off in a flash.
We keep talking about what is a manageable target. Ranjit, you've spent a lot of time with the Sri Lankans recently. What do you think that their expectations are?
I reckon the Sri Lankans are quite prepared to look at something like around 270, but I'm sure they would be happy around 250.
They certainly don't fear anybody these days, do they, in the competition?
Their batting has come off, and they've got a lot of experience and skill, and I think the confidence they've gained since returning from Australia, I think, has stood them in extremely good stead.
And they've really wanted this, haven't they? They've wanted Australia, another crack at Australia after that tour.
Yes, I think they felt that they deserve another crack at Australia, since they felt that they should have had Australia probably in the Benson and Hedges final, and this probably is the glorious opportunity they've been given.
We've been watching them now for nearly a couple of hours. Early on, I thought there might have been signs, a little bit of tension out there. Do you feel they're pretty comfortable now?
Yes, and I think the Sri Lankans had developed a great deal of resilience during the last few months, and this certainly has come to the fore here. They've really come back from a rather tight situation and come back sneaking into the game.
In the air. And well taken. A well-judged catch. Aravinda de Silva, who's already taken 2 wickets, now takes a good catch.
That's certainly a great blow for Sri Lanka. A top edge by Steve Waugh and Aravinda de Silva running across, taking a very good judged catch, keeping his eyes on the ball all the time and catching it to a nicety. Is he not delighted?
170 for 5.
Coming over the wicket.
Well, this final has really come alive here in Lahore, Pakistan. Michael Bevan, the left-hander, at the crease. Came in to bat against the West Indies without much form, mainly because he hadn't had a lot of hits. Played well in that match. He'll need to play well again. There's a big wicket getting rid of Steve Waugh. He's been such a good player in all forms of cricket for Australia in that middle order. Michael Bevan, terrific record. And you see there that he didn't have to do much until that semi-final against the West Indies. He has with him Stuart Law, the man who also played well against the West Indies. And Arjuna Ranatunga going on the attack, has a slip in. It's good captaincy. And 4 men in, saving the single.
Two new men at the wicket. Sri Lanka certainly have their tails up, and Muralidharan now getting his act together. He's been getting the prodigious turn he's been reputed to have.
Bevan off the mark. And there's a good delivery from Dharamasena. Got rid of Steve Ward, just catching the front edge. And that's a very well judged catch. Not so easy when you're on the full run to catch them. The eyes are just bobbing up and down a little bit. Aravinda De Silva didn't have enough time to get there and get set. That's a good catch when you're running almost flat out.
It just gives you a good idea of the way the run rate has gone down. Have a look at that graph. From round about 20 overs, it has gone down and down and down. At one stage, the Australians were scoring 6 and over. Then it got down to about 5.5. And then all of a sudden, it went down below 5. That was in the 30th over. And it's never got back up to 5 since then.
Australia 189 for 5. Really, if they have to achieve their target of 250, they'll need a couple of good overs at this stage. Dharamasena in his last over to Law. And that's smashed away over square leg and over the boundary line. 6 runs. That was a full toss from Dharamasena, and Stuart Law quick to pounce on that.
It was a hell of a hit because he clubbed it away just about perfectly square. Yep, nice strike.
Beautifully picked up by Law. In fact, it wasn't a full toss. I beg your pardon for that. Heaved over square leg. Now Stuart Law can put pressure on the bowler now, having picked up 6 runs of the first delivery. So really, if these two batsmen knock the ball around, there is 10 runs for the taking in this over. And it's funny what a couple of good overs can do. He'll have to hurry. An overthrow there from Roshan Mahanama, who is coming in quickly from cover, allowing the batsman to come back for a second run. So this really is a good over for Australia so far.
Very good cricket by Bevan. First of all, the little push on the offside, and then the quick turn. As soon as the ball went past, he was going to the non-striker's end.
And he's gone. Stuart Law trying to hit Jayasuriya over the cover field, but managing to get an outside edge and straight to the hands of the fielder at backward point, Aravinda De Silva. So yet another wicket gone. 202 for 6 Australia.
This is a big one for Sri Lanka. They've had a few big ones. 6 of them down now. And Stuart Law just aiming with a risky stroke to take it away in the air. Quite deliberately hit there, but he didn't mean to hit it quite as fine as that. And it's now 202 for 6.
Well, with the Australians in real trouble at the moment at 202 for 6. To tell you more about it, it's going to be Tony Greig, and with him Ian Chattel.
What a vital wicket that was, the last one. Australians have watched this delivery to Healy. Plays that around the onside. He's a very good player in situations like this. He won't be affected. Yes, let's have another look at the wicket. Jayasuriya is the bowler, and of course that one just outside off stump. Stuart Law going for it. He gave it a bit of room, actually. Thick outside edge and straight to gully. Aravinda in the way.
Yes, Aravinda is another one who always seems to be in the action in this World Cup. Just enough turn there from Jayasuriya.
It's nicely driven, but they've got a sweeper back, so just one. Hasn't just been a turnaround. The Australians looked as if they were coasting there for a while. They were 137 for one.
It's Jayasuriya just getting enough turn to catch the edge. And there's the reaction from the bowler on taking the wicket of Stuart Law.
Into the gap again, Healy. Straight away is scoring the runner ball, well fielded. Right alongside the bails. Australia 205 for 6.
Muralidharan has been brilliant in the field for Sri Lanka. Very quick to the ball and accurate with his returns.
Come on, lads, come on!
So there we are. Quite a big collapse there. They were looking really good for a while. Now Bevan's out there on 16. A lot depends on him. Healy has joined him. He's got 2. He's only faced 2 balls. Ball him! He's got him. He's tossed that one up in the air. Healy has been done. Neck and crop. That was magnificent bowling. He tossed it up in the air. It spun a little bit. And Healy really was lost. He seemed to be wandering around trying to hit the ball down the ground. And it's knocked back the leg stump.
Well, they say about spinners, you've got to beat the batsman in the air before you can beat him off the pitch. And this is a classic example. Aravinda de Silva beat him with flight. That is the perfect off-spinner's dismissal. Healy is gone, and Australia are 205 for 7.
What a World Cup he's having. Now that it's got down to the important matches, his experience is definitely beginning to tell. 3 for 24 off 6.1 overs, an economy rate of 3.89. More importantly, he's got those wickets.
Paul Rifle, the new batsman. And when you look at that scorecard, Australia's scorecard, you see the names De Silva and Jayasuriya all over the scorecard. Catches and wickets. And they really have been right in the thick of things in this World Cup.
Again, tossed up just outside off stump, trying to force him to drive on the offside.
Yes, this was a beautiful piece of bowling by Aravinda de Silva. New batsman in, tossed it up. Healy's eyes lit up, but that's beautifully bowled.
They'll be looking for the second here. Bevan touchdown, back he comes. He's very quick. He'll be home comfortably. Didn't even stretch.
Well, they picked their man. Fast bowler Wickramasinghe, not the best of fielders in the Sri Lankan side.
He's had a go at that one. It'll bounce down towards deep mid-wicket. And that time they'll settle for one. So Bevan now gets a chance. Yes, he's really going to have a go now. I'm just trying to work out where I think he's going to hit this one. He loves playing it away on the onside for ones, but he might go straight down the ground. We saw him win a match for Australia, hitting the ball straight over low and straight over the top of the umpire's head. There's a bit of a gap for him there if he hits it nice and straight and flat. He's having a glance down towards square leg. He's got inside out that one, and that's well played. That's very well played. Inside out, and he's whacked that one away down towards deep extra cover. Did it go all the way? Don't think so. Just short of the fence at deep extra cover.
He's very quick on his feet, Michael Bevan, and he times his moves extremely well. That one landing just a metre short. He doesn't give the bowler a real sign until it's too late for the bowler to do anything about it.
So 1 over to go. 233 for 7, Australia. They were put in by the Sri Lankans. And this is now going to be the last over. It's going to be bowled by Jayasuriya. And on strike at the moment is Michael Bevan. That's the outfield which we reckon could end up getting a little bit of moisture onto it, a little bit of dew perhaps, although there is a bit of cloud cover around. So Jayasuriya will be off the ground and strapping the pads on before too long.
Might just stop for a bit of Alu Paratha before he puts the pads on, Greggy.
Yeah, no doubt. Laced with a bit of porridge, I reckon. Here we go, last over. Once again, giving it room. That's well played. He's hit that one away square. Will the fielder gets to it? I don't think he will. That's very well played by Michael Bevan. Backing away again, smashing it square on the offside. It looks as if that's where he fancies himself most. There are 3 men back on the leg side, so this is what he decided to do.
He really is the best batsman in one-day cricket when it comes to scoring runs in the late overs. He finds a way to reach the boundaries. His first boundary was in that last over. Now he's managed to find a second one, and he's really got Arjuna Ranatunga thinking. He's made him change his tactics and bring an extra man across to the offside. Obviously the original idea for Sri Lanka was to dart them in at leg stump.
He's backed off again and tried to smash it away on the offside, but that is a better delivery right up there. Followed him a little bit.
And they're telling the man at deep mid-off, Chaminda Vas, stop the twos.
1-2, well bowled. It's away down to mid-on. Guru Singh coming in there. So what can Paul Rifle do now?
Well, they were desperate to get...
Englishman Mark Benson. Joining me in the commentary box for this first half hour, Daryl Cullinan. And just let's get it out of the way, Daryl, good morning. Now, just about good afternoon. And disappointing just initially about the pitch.
Good afternoon, Gerald, and good afternoon to all viewers. Very disappointing, whatever the reasons given. It's actually inexcusable, but thankfully we've got a test match underway. Let's not forget that time can be made up this evening, albeit half an hour. So all the talk leading up into this test match was about South Africa's pace and how the Indian top order are going to deal with it.
And that top order begins with Verinder Sehwag and Wasim Jaffer, and it's Dale Steyn who's going to be taking the new ball from the golf course end. Huge opportunity for him. It's a short first session, just an hour this afternoon, and a big chance for South Africa to make inroads here. Must be said that the Indian top order is a little fragile, particularly Jaffer and Sehwag. And so to be looking to get a big breakthrough early on here. Here we go. Oh, nice start from Dale Steyn. On the money.
He's going to charge in. That's a quick first delivery from Steyn. And Jaffa, having come off a warm-up game, he got a pair. And he's on 2 occasions on this tour. One-day international, he's batted twice, got a duck and a 10. So his tour of South Africa so far has yielded 10 runs. But if ever there was a time to come good, it would be today. It would be a great test of his technique.
Nice and fresh for Steyn from the golf course end, in the right area already.
It's quite interesting that normally Mackay and Tini, him being the senior bowler, would get a choice of ends. But with it though, he's decided today that Steyn would take the first over. And from the golf course end, one thing you do get is a bit of extra bounce. And the carry is going to be something to watch here today. Where will it get to Boucher's gloves?
First one offline from Dale Steyn. Interesting to see, yes, how it carries, how that bounce, and how South Africa use it. You've got to use it cleverly, don't overuse it.
Well, that's the risk that sides run. Yeah, they tend to get a bit carried away when they see the good bounce and the good carry. Good carry is generally about you would take it just about waist height and above. The one, as we know, can be a bit slow on the first day. But so far, it's got through quite nicely.
Oh, there we go. First real short one, and it's up there in the 140s from Dale Steyn. Now, the test of these two opening batsmen is so much. Have a look at that short one, perhaps just a little bit wide, and Jaffa playing inside. Here it is, and he's got it away for the first boundary of this test match. Short ball, and Jaffa deals with it very well.
Very impressive stroke. Effort ball from Ntini. He's not one of the slowest bowlers around. You can see that he's dug that in. The way that he's played it, that's with authority.
That's close. That's very, very close. That goes the finger. Mackay Ntini and Wasim Jaffa's